right. Well, welcome to the Whatchagonnawannado podcast. I'm Kevin.
I'm Mr. Odd.
I'm Caleb.
Mr. Odd.
Odd. It's like
OTT?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like Scott with the letter first.
Just cut off the...
They're getting a little weaker. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some brainstorming here.
Yeah.
Not a good one.
Every once in a while you relate us with a Zay.
Yeah, you just come up with stuff that just like...
I felt like maybe you dropped a few letters.
Yeah, that's all.
The Scrabble board.
Yeah.
I thought maybe...
Too simple.
Like the Ott, there were some pretty famous Otts that played baseball. I thought maybe that's what you... Since we're talking about baseball today. Mel Ott.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a son that played?
Yeah. What was his son?
I don't know.
Not
Not Ott.
So when you went to file his name, yeah, not.
Yeah, not.
Oh boy,
That's good.
This is not a way to start this.
No. But I mean, boys are back at spring training now.
Yeah.
And baseball's starting up.
Exciting.
We're all big baseball fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Especially
favorite.
since football came crashing to an end.
Yeah.
And it's all over.
Yeah.
Probably mercifully. If we were going to be honest.
Yeah, for at least for these three here.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I mean, the postseason.
It doesn't even exist.
No.
Not
We'll
for
just
the
pretend
full
like
season.
that year never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start all over and
That's
then
kind
next
of
year.
what, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But baseball's here, boys.
Yeah. The boys of summer.
Boys of summer.
They're not gone.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're back.
Yeah.
The Reds are down there in Goodyear. Is that where they're at?
They had good year?
Sure.
Somewhere out there in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
In the Cactus League.
Could just went Arizona, and you would have
They're
been
down there in Arizona.
Arizona.
Might have been the safest way to go about it.
Are the Pirates down there? Do you know where their spring training is?
Let's get into it, Scott. What field they play on today?
They seriously were in Florida, but I don't know if they've moved to
I know a lot of them have.
so.
Because I guess
Arizona.
what they say is a great thing about the Cactus League is that all the teams are within like 60, 90 minutes of each other or something.
Ooh.
So it's
They're within
really
cactus throw of each
easy.
other.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the Cactus League.
It's really easy to travel back and forth where when they're in Florida is such a long state
That's true.
and some of them will be clear
the Gators.
down and way up and
The Gators. The Gators.
Yeah.
maybe several hours of driving time. So
So the swampland, the invasive species. It's hard to navigate.
The invasive species.
The iguanas littering up the road. It's a problem.
Get frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're not doing that little iguana shuffle they do.
Shuffle. I think you're right. I think they may have moved with a lot of the teams to Arizona.
probably so. We've all been blessed to be able to coach Little League for several years. I coached this young man
Yeah.
Yeah, you had
all the way up.
over what? How many? 20 plus years of
I don't
coaching
know if I had
experience?
that many, but probably
You
a
got
good,
a lot, Kev.
Right.
probably
good
close to
chunk.
20.
Yeah.
Probably close. And I coached our producer, which we didn't introduce when we were.
That's right.
And we should give him a little love at the
Yeah.
beginning. Our producer Silas Clark,
Yeah.
who puts everything together.
Whose name will live in baseball infamy forever
Oh.
as the only player I've ever seen skip to first base.
Skip to first.
We actually have a photo of that.
I have no memory of skipping.
He doesn't
during
remember.
baseball.
We'll have the photo. We'll get the photo.
Get the
Show it right now,
Get the
producer.
photo. Get the photo.
I've watched my daughter play. Did not skip to first base.
Did not skip. Did not skip.
Not a single girl on the team skipped to first base. Still to this day, the only
put a
person I've
stamp
ever
on
seen.
it.
He did. He made it his own.
I've seen kids run to the wrong base.
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen that. That's usually in T-ball.
One of my favorites,
yeah,
though,
That's T-ball. Yeah. Yeah.
and you are probably like Peanut League,
We're doing that.
whatever. What is
We're
that?
doing
11, 12-year-olds?
Yeah, we don't. That by the time I started coaching my kids, we weren't calling it peanut, pre-peanut,
Oh. What are they calling?
garbanzo beans.
They call it.
Garbanzo beans.
They call it 10U, 12U.
Garbanzo beans.
Yeah, We took
15
the,
years.
we,
Do they even call it Babe Ruth
took the
anymore?
nuts right out of it.
Took the nuts out of it.
We said this is
Awesome. We took
But
the
one
nuts out.
of my favorite, when he was playing 12U, there's a kid
You said it like it's the most grotesque thing that's ever come out of your
I just like
12
I just
I
like
love nuts.
He just can't.
I mean peanuts go with baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
They do.
12. Yeah.
But there's a kid hadn't played before. It's his first year. And I'm the assistant coach on this team. Okay, so I'm coaching first base.
Yeah.
Kid walks up, gets in the left-handed batter's box. Okay.
Okay.
We had, all the practices and stuff. I'd never seen the
You've
kid
never
bat
seen
left.
bat left?
But he gets in the left-handed batter's box. Okay, so like this is home plate. I'm in the batter's box. Puts the bat up here. Looks out at the pitcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, whoa, timeout. And the guy who was the head coach was coaching third. And he came walking down. I'm like, he's not a lefty, is he?
He's not a lefty.
And I mean, he's standing like a right-handed batter in the left-handed batter's box.
Kill that catcher. But honestly, probably would have been more successful.
He may have had he might have had a better chance.
This is the same kid, the kid where coach at practice was he would throw tennis balls at us to get us used to getting hit, which did pay off very well for me because I got hit quite often.
Oh, sorry.
And sometimes intentionally.
Yeah.
Had to get on base. Got to get around.
Sure.
But when he would drop down, he would hold himself from getting all the way down the ground because he didn't want to get his pants dirty. Which the rest of us we're like, wiggling around in it, trying to rub it in. He's like, oh, don't want to get.
I think he was also the kid that like when the first game was like, hey, does anyone have any sunscreen? The kid was like a ghost.
Yeah,
was he?
Yeah, he was pale.
And just pale.
That was the first and only year I remember him playing baseball.
I don't think he ever played after that.
I would argue,
Unless he probably shouldn't have that.
but
year.
I would argue.
Yeah.
He didn't really play that year.
Yeah.
I would argue.
You're probably right. But they had the peg batting order, so you had to bat.
Oh, okay.
So there's an automatic out unless he gets hit.
Yeah. He kind of has to go up.
He was going to be ducking down, trying to crawl.
He's like bailing out when they're throwing one of the kids that are bailing out when they start into the wind up.
Yeah, he's already out. Whoa.
Which that's one thing that always drove me nuts as a coach when kids start bailing out.
Yeah. Yeah, when
Like he's winding up. He's not even
let the ball
pitched
go.
yet.
Come on, stay in there. Because if you could just throw the bat out, you might get.
You might have a chance.
Yeah.
And if you get hit, you're on base. You're not gonna die.
You're not going to die. That's a great story. That he's the catch.
What's the funniest thing that ever happened to you when you were coaching that you can think of?
It's the funniest thing. I mean, that was one of them right there.
No, I would say that qualifies.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you already said the run into third base. That's funny to a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one funny thing that happened over and over again, and we've talked about this before. We had this bat. It was when they played. It was back in the Mark McGuire days, so it was a Mark McGuire, bat.
Rawlings.
So Rawlings.
I think so. Mm-hmm. Well, somehow the aluminum bats will have like a little tiny hole in the bottom.
The base of the
Someone had put a pebble down in there.
I don't know that it got put in there. I think because a lot of times the guys would tap it on the ground and stuff.
So maybe that's what happened.
And, I mean, it had to, because the hole was, almost pinhole size.
Oh,
Right, it wasn't
So we're
very
not
big.
talking. It was the tiniest pebble
It was pretty
possibly
small.
ever.
But the thing is when you would swing this bat, if you didn't make contact, that pebble, you got up here like this, so
It's resting at the bottom.
it's resting at the bottom. You swing and it slides up to the end. There were kids that would miss the ball by like 6 inches, sometimes maybe like a foot.
Really?
They would miss the ball, and that thing would ting at the thing. The umpire would think it was a foul ball. And if it's the third strike, the kid drops it, and, foul.
Foul ball.
And the coach on the other team would be irate because they could see it, just like I could, and they knew that the kid had missed the ball. I'm like, what's going on? But you would hear that little ting, and he would think it was a foul tip and call it every time.
To my knowledge, it wasn't put in there intentionally.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't believe it was like. Even if someone did it, they wouldn't have been
hilarious,
planning to do that, But it was so funny,
And we
got so many.
It was a little bit of an unfair advantage.
It was.
But what are you gonna do? Sit there and be like, well, listen.
You can't argue with the ump.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, I did not hit it.
Listen.
What you heard was a tiny pebble rolling around in there.
Yeah, you're going to take your time to talk to the ump. Listen.
I'm the fifth kid today that you've let and I just want to tell you.
The poor pitcher probably would have a no-hitter go on.
How many...
If,
Probably have to pull him out of the second inning. To keep hitting. How many pitches?
Yeah, gets his pitch count way up.
Pitch count.
I don't recall it ever happening like twice in a row on the same at bat.
Oh, okay.
But
it did happen.
It did happen, and it happened a lot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I feel like it may have happened twice in a row at the same at bat.
It's possible. I just don't recall it.
It did happen. It happened more, at least once a game.
Yeah, at least. Another thing, their brother played. They were only like a year apart. So
Mason,
he led the world in getting hit in the head. I don't know how many times
He would duck into it.
his head would be across the plate, and the ball would hit him in the head, and he'd get to take his base.
Really?
They never once called him for being in the strike zone.
I was gonna say,
and which got me because it's like,
right?
He's ducking right into
You're
it.
into the strike zone.
He's in the strike zone, getting hit in the head.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah,
He would. Then he'd take his base.
it happened a lot. It happened a lot.
See the stars, coach.
This guy got hit one time at a game, and he actually tried to get out of the way, but it came in on you.
Well, I moved.
Yeah.
I didn't try.
They didn't let him take his base, saying
Really?
he wasn't.
I didn't make an attempt.
He didn't make an attempt to get out of the way. My mom
Oh yeah, that would have.
watching. We're throwing you under the bus, Mom. She was irate and was about ready to go after the umpire.
Really?
And I remember we were at the end of the bleachers, and she started to go off, and I pulled her back up.
Get back.
Because she would have
awesome.
got tossed, which she did get tossed.
She did.
Yes,
In that game?
not that game. This was out at Rockaway.
Okay.
This game,
Good toss.
she got tossed at a game at South Vienna
Oh.
because
Oh boy.
Caleb was catching, and there's a kid who was pitching. Both grandmothers.
Okay.
The pitcher's grandmother and the catcher's grandmother both got kicked out for
wow.
yelling at the umpire.
I can imagine.
Yeah, she was.
That wasn't the only time that I got hit by it. I did it again in high school. I did it again in high school.
Wasn't the only
And didn't
time.
get to take your base.
Didn't get to take my base.
What?
Yeah.
But that time you probably didn't even try to move.
Well, you gotta get something started.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's times.
You gotta get a rally going. Yeah.
But this time that I
Can't believe
mentioned,
they wouldn't let you take your base when you try to get out of the way.
I think what I did was
Yeah.
turn. That was almost my initial, which is making a move.
yeah,
That's a move.
yeah. And I thought that time you got a legitimate gripe that he was trying to make a move. But I think the one in high school, I don't think he moved at all.
Also, I think they threw it at my thigh. And if you want me to move, probably don't throw it at my thigh. I'm not going to even feel that.
Yeah. You may have actually stuck it in.
Listen, chances are we were probably down. Okay, because that team was not good. Chances are we were probably down, and we had to get somebody on base.
Try to get somebody on
Was
base.
I going to hit? Probably not. I was a streaky hitter.
Streaky. Yeah.
I had to get on base.
Had to get
That's
something
what it's
started.
about for me.
Crushed the ball too. There were several that he hit.
Some of
over the
furthest
fence.
foul balls you've ever seen.
They all went foul. He pulled them.
Oh, God.
Me and a buddy had
He would have left. He would have left the yard a lot if he could have kept it.
Me and a buddy had a bet. I can't remember. There were certain things that we would buy each other. I know the ranch sunflower seeds. There was a Gatorade and Big League Chew. Were all part of it. Whoever hit the first home run, neither one of us hit.
Oh, God.
I think there was more of a chance of him throwing someone out from the fence than there was of him hitting a home run that year.
Hitting a home run, yeah.
Because he had a cannon.
Yeah,
but he wasn't.
He wasn't
a very big kid. But
was it you or one of the other guys that hit one into the concessions?
Yeah. So it was like a food truck.
Yeah. It was like a food truck concession.
So it had the one end was open up and the front. Like so this end, the side was opened up.
Okay.
And it was along the left field foul area.
Yeah.
He fouled one off, and this kid, he was only playing JV because he was rehabbing from a shoulder injury. And
so he should have been
playing varsity baseball. Had been, I think, the year before.
Yeah.
Absolutely drills this ball.
Oh man, it's a screaming line drive.
It's a line drive.
And for him to hit it over there, he gets out ahead of it, so you know he hit it hard. Goes right into there and ping pong goes into the end of it.
It goes
It ping pongs around. Yeah, we thought he killed somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Very well could have.
Yeah. That was one of the. That was my last year organized baseball, and that was one of the craziest years.
That's hilarious. I mean, nobody was hurt. So.
No.
Yeah.
No. We also got lost twice because for some reason, we always had schools that were like an hour or so away. The school bus driver.
Oh, the school bus.
The bus driver that we depended on.
Oh, yeah, because I remember showing up at the game and we're sitting there waiting for them to get there.
You get there 30, 45 minutes late, more than once.
Oh, man.
I think it was Bell Fountain and
Ben Logan. Yeah.
I think it was. Or maybe Tip City. It's one of those ones.
You gotta get us here, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we had forfeiting.
Yeah. We had one game we were driving to. We had one game we were driving to, and one of the guys on the team peed into a Gatorade bottle. And then chucked it out the window. Oh. There was a car behind us. It followed us all the way to the game. Oh. Told the coach. And he had to run the entire time before the game. And then couldn't play that day. And I think he ran all the next practice. And I'm like, dude, how stupid are you?
Yeah.
Why would you even do that?
Yeah, but you're just waiting for
Yeah, you're asking for it.
What that's no good.
I mean, we were high school freshmen, so you did a lot of stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But even then, I knew it was not.
Even then, you thought, this is probably
not gonna fly.
One of the funniest things I always remember from baseball games in general, you see it. I've seen it as a player, as a coach, when the guys duck down and the ball pops on top of the head.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit hard. It's usually like the first year pitch, and it's a float.
Yep.
Yes. Good point.
And then the classic foul ball off the bat.
Off the bat.
When they don't pull it down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, as a coach, you're trying to teach them everything. Get that bat down. Get it down. But sometimes it's funny when it happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like that's what the pitcher was trying to do.
That's what the pitcher was trying to do.
I'll get a strike one way or another.
I'll get a strike. I haven't hit the strike zone yet, but I
know what the next one's gonna be.
I always told the kids who were my pitchers that you're going to hit kids. I said you don't want to try to hit people, but when you do hit them, you want it to hurt because you do not want those kids going back and being like, oh yeah, I didn't even feel a thing.
I didn't feel it.
So make sure you're throwing hard because if you hit someone, you want to leave a mark. You want them crying a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things I ever seen coaching was a kid pulled off an unassisted triple play.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Shortstop. Wow. And this was maybe first year of kid pitch.
I think you're right.
I mean, this kid was an athlete.
He
ended up moving away a year or so later. So, I would have loved to have that kid on my team all the way up.
Really good baseball IQ.
Yeah, really good. Playing shortstop, either bases are loaded or there's men on first and second. I can't remember. I think bases were loaded. I don't think so.
weren't.
I think you were already up.
Yeah.
And because the way it worked out, Caleb was always on my team 1 year, and then he would move up, and then there was another guy who would always pick Caleb up, and then I would be his assistant. Okay. So I'm head coach of one team and assistant coach of another team every other year, and then the next year I would have Caleb on my team because I would end up getting that guy's whatever he had left over.
Yeah,
I'd get that, and I'd have Caleb and Mason for 1 year together, and then
some years he was still in that league though, right?
Sean?
Yeah.
Not until we got up to. Well, by the time we got up to 15U, we were
coaching anymore.
The first couple years he was.
Was he?
Yeah, and it was me and George were assistants. Yeah. But yeah, we had, always had like the same assistant coaches, and I was going to bring it in. I have an autographed baseball that they gave me for Father's Day 1 year. But our team was, you could have, you get sponsors back then. And so the guy who sponsored us, they had a greenhouse, but he's like, I can put the name of that on our sleeve, but we can put anything on our, across our chest. And the road we lived on was Kearns Road. They always called it Kearnsville.
You're giving a lot of details.
We don't live there anymore.
I know.
So we were the Kearnsville Comets.
Oh, cool.
And so I always wore this hat.
Awesome.
KC hat. So
we had Casey on.
We had Casey on the kids' hats, but I always have to have a fitted hat, so I bought this one.
Nice.
But we had the Kansas City, the logo that the Royals have. Yeah. I actually sent a letter to the Royals asking if it was okay to we use their logo, and they said we could. Awesome. But we were green because we had a greenhouse. It was a greenhouse that sponsored us, and Kearnsville Comets across the chest. Well, they gave me a baseball that had the logo on it, and they both autographed it.
And it was pretty cool. It was so cool to the point where one of my buddies on the team, who was probably our best pitcher, and also one of the kids who was a pitcher and would hit people all the time. His older sisters would wear our shirts because they looked pretty cool. I mean, it was a cool
logo
for just a rec league baseball team that didn't have real jerseys. I mean, we were just T-shirts with our numbers printed on it, but it was really cool.
That's
awesome. Yeah, because everyone else would have, whoever was a sponsor on me, like Dairy Queen number 5 or something stupid.
Yeah,
like
I remember one year when I wasn't on your team, when I was on Sean's team, I never remember which one was right because we got two different shirts. Yes. One was a misprint, so we had two different jerseys that year. They were both the same, but it just had one word different on both of them.
Okay.
It was like services and systems.
Yeah, it was advanced irrigation, and one said services, one said systems, and in any given game, somebody on the team was wearing one, somebody on the team was wearing another. And I don't think any of the boys, anyways, had any understanding of which one was the right one.
No clue. Even the coaches didn't. I mean, I didn't, because I had it too.
Yeah. That was. I'm sure that was my mom's favorite year.
Oh yeah,
because she didn't have to wash them so often. Yeah.
Systems and services.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Never gonna know which one was which. Now, Mom helped you quite a bit with baseball, and there's a funny story with her.
There is a funny story with her, and she'll get mad at me for sharing this.
More than one, but share the one, not the other.
More than one. Share the one, not the other.
She would definitely get mad if you told the other one.
There was this guy who always
not. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What?
I'm telling the wrong one.
Yeah, don't tell. Why did you think that's not what I meant?
I knew that's what you meant. I would always kind of keep the kids' stats.
Yeah.
So I had
1 year. I know my batting average from that year. Would you ask me what it is?
What was it?
0. Did not have a single hit that year. Anyways.
But his on base percentage was like 600 or something.
Yeah. I get a lot.
Nice.
But I would put all the kids' stats, and I have it like listed in alphabetical order.
Okay.
Well, on the same paper on the other side, I put our batting order. Okay. So I have that on there. Well, Kim would write out my lineup for me to hand it to give it to their coach. So the game starts. The slowest kid on the team, whose last name started with an A. Walks up.
Kid who peed in the bottle.
Oh.
Walked up to the plate. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, like you're trying to. Slowest guy.
I wasn't on this team either.
Kim she had written down the other side, so it was in alphabetical order. My batting order was in alphabetical order. And the slowest kid on the team.
You probably lost that game pretty easily.
We lost that game. And we could have won it. We should have won it. But I mean, I can't blame Kim because I'm the one that had it on there both ways.
But hilarious.
Yeah.
Alphabetical
because
order
this kid
is insane. It's literally one of the craziest things you could ever do.
This kid was slow. I mean, he wasn't a bad hitter. He's kind of a middle of the order kind of kid.
Oh, okay.
For that team.
I once saw him get thrown out from right field.
I believe it.
Thrown out from right field.
I believe it. He was not fast.
It's a slow fella.
Yeah.
And here he is leading off, clogging up the base pad. So yeah, that was
That's hilarious.
chalk that one up to a loss.
Yeah.
But I mean, I miss coaching Scott. You helped me for several years when Cy was playing.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
And
always good times.
It seemed like I always had great assistant coaches, and we always had so much fun.
Yeah, well, we did. We really did.
Yeah, I mean sometimes think we had more fun than the kids. But I saw such a big change in coaching from the time that Caleb and Mason played to the time that Cy played.
Oh.
With just the
kids
because when
IQ or the
that and I mean
level.
Kids still played outside to some extent when they were coming up, and with Cy, so many of the kids that he grew up with
are skipping to first base.
Didn't play, but I mean, I would go out with all my boys and throw the ball around and stuff.
Yeah, skip.
But a lot of the kids, they wouldn't touch a baseball after the season ended until like the next spring when you started, and they just, it just wasn't.
I remember the one game we got the kids after the game, and we lost or something. I think the kids were frustrated, but you go into that frustration with the coaches. You're trying to teach them things and hope they retain it, and and I think that there was, like Kev said, a kind of disconnect with, and I think what's Peggy Minnick's husband that helped us.
Alan
said something. I'm paraphrasing something about. Don't you guys ever watch baseball? Something to that effect. I'm like, oh, but I think he was right because some of them was like you were talking about, like baseball IQ. I was like, it would be hard that they had it.
Yeah. You can tell the kids who've watched a game or not.
Yeah, and then I mean, there's some kids that just know. Yeah, they always know what to do, and there's other kids that you have to tell them between every pitch, where to be, what to do,
And there were kids that didn't play at all.
Yeah,
I mean, this is their first athletic.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to hold a bat, and they're doing that thing there.
Yeah. And
they're barely swinging, and we're all patient, but I'm just looking. You can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, man, that's kind of a natural. Seems like a natural.
Yeah, things that we took for granted.
They took for granted. That's it.
For granted? You took it for granted, which is rock. Is that
granite?
You took it for granted. So you made a trade.
What were you gonna say?
What were you gonna say? Not the granite thing.
Always
going to.
Just how it comes out.
I said, I'll trade. Listen, here's a deal. I have a bunch of granite. Let's make it.
But that's true. Yeah, you don't. You'd almost take it like it'd be a natural thing for you, and you can't believe.
And if you think you're doing, listen, I love baseball. So what I'm going to say might sound harsh, right? But I need you to hear it. If you think you're doing your kid a service by introducing to a sport, by starting them in baseball, when I would say puberty has already taken place, you're not doing them a favor.
No.
You're doing them a horrible disservice.
Yeah.
And if they're at a certain age, even before puberty, and you're thinking, I would like to help them with their coordination, baseball isn't a sport to do that. There's too much coordination going on. Play a sport where there's only certain things you need to be coordinated with, because you need all the coordination in baseball.
Right.
Good point.
Don't do that to your kids.
Yeah, good
It's
point.
been
There's a lot.
another public service announcement.
Public service.
And
But you're right.
you're so
you do
true.
Use all, you're very right.
You're gonna play baseball. You need to start young
Yes.
and stick with it.
Yeah. I mean, you can come semi-late to the game, but you have to be. They have to be already athletic,
Right.
Yeah,
or have good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
It's not the game to develop it.
I agree. I agree.
Definitely not.
Get them into wrestling or something. You need no coordination.
Get them to wrestling or something.
I mean, you play football.
Play football. There's a lot of positions on the football field where you don't have to be coordinated,
You just have
or
to,
even athletic.
just have to be able to hit people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play football. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I was blessed too to have my dad. He was a coach, a little league coach.
Yeah.
Had
My
so
dad.
much fun with t-ball and then
Right.
yeah.
And some people
My
just
dad.
aren't baseball
Just great.
people.
My dad coached
Did he?
us some. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
we could.
That's awesome.
And that's the best
Never
when
forget it.
when your dad's coaching. That's so much
Yeah,
fun.
that's awesome. And you got to experience it too.
Well, I mean, it might not have been as fun for him because then all the way
generations.
home they have to like hear about
3 generations for you.
everything, all the bad stuff everything they did wrong during the game.
Oh, you would go over.
I was pretty bad. I got better by the time Sly came along.
Honestly, so
Okay, well, Dad did that a little bit. I mean, it's just natural.
Yeah.
you had assistants that were harder on me than you were sometimes, though, because they had a level of comfortability with me, and they knew they could. So I would get berated for things that kids that I've been playing with this whole time would just nothing would be said. That always drove me nuts.
Yeah, that would drive you nuts.
Well, and you were the catcher
nuts.
too. And catcher always gets blamed for like not catching wild pitches and stuff.
Every wild pitch is someone to throw. Oh. Am I talking about one person? Did I make it obvious now?
Did I pick obvious? I'm telling you, it's some of the fondest memories of my youth were playing baseball when Dad was coaching. That was when we were in Reynoldsburg.
Yeah.
I was back there. It's t-ball and
Yeah.
And I remember in Reynoldsburg, they had what they called the TNT restaurant, which is this.
Dynamite.
Yeah, it was this Italian restaurant. We went there for
I will not fight.
pizza party after we won the T-ball league, and it was
Powerful. Watch me explode.
Watch me explode. I have one funny one. I won't keep us because I know we're trying. I only had one funny one I can remember, and that's when we were here in Springfield. I think it was maybe in the Kenton Ridge League for a year or something. Prosser, yeah. And or maybe not. Maybe it was another league. But I was, young. John was on the team, and he's in the outfield. They pulled me in to pitch. And I could throw the ball, I had a strong arm, but what I didn't have was accuracy. So I'm, throwing the ball in, and I'm hitting a couple, but whizzing it by them, and I've got an out or two, and it's not bad. Dad's coaching, okay?
Yeah.
So then I decide to. They probably had 1 or 2 men on. But I had a couple, so I throw the old ball in there, crack! It's going out. Out to the outfield, over my brother's head, rolling to the fence. My brother takes off running. I'm looking around, and the guys are going around. I go around. Dad comes out, and he says, because you just threw maybe it was an inside the park, or you at least scored 2 runs, at least 2 or 3. He goes, well, what happened there? You were blowing it by him pretty good. And Dad said, I told him this. I said, Dad, haven't you heard of a changeup? So it must have been like a lob.
He threw an ethos.
Poor Sean.
He caught the tail
field
end.
seemed huge to you.
It was probably too, and it was probably too big for your age level.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Remember Sean's legs just going off to the fence, Keith would be out there running. That's the one that's the one funny
That's
one.
awesome.
I got a few funnies from when I coached my boys. So my younger boy, when he was like 4, he finally got the chance to play baseball, but it was on like a 6U, I think, team. So he was too young, but he'd been baseball obsessed since he could walk. I have videotapes of him in with a binky and a diaper in the basement throwing pitches to his brother and shaking him off and stuff like that.
I love it.
So
that's awesome.
We were at practice, and me and my buddy, who I'm real good friends with now, but we were both coaching the team, and we were doing pop-ups, and Abram is standing out in center field, and he's 4, so he's just head down.
It's amazing.
And then he my buddy hits a ball, and I don't know if he was trying to hit it out to the field or what, but it gets some height to it. And we look, and he's just standing there with his head down.
Oh, he still had his head down.
And he screams, "Hey!" And Abe Pop goes, just like he knew it was. He's like,
I got it.
and he just flings it back in.
That's awesome.
And then my oldest boy, this was before he started. He played middle school ball, so like last year, right before middle school ball.
Awesome.
Same buddy. We're coaching. We're doing just fly ball drills. And there's other stories with this buddy. I wasn't necessarily there for these. Probably should not be allowed to hit pop-ups to kids. But anyways. So we're doing this, and somehow or another so he's a righty, throws righty. He somehow gets the ball. I think he was trying to bring it up behind to catch the fly ball, but it didn't get all the way behind, and he takes it to the thumb. He's kind of complaining, but he's a pretty tough kid. So he's kind of complaining, whining a little bit, but not too bad.
Actually pretty good there.
Yeah, and it got him. It must have got him pretty good, but you'll hear as it goes on. But I'm like, dude, it was a little swollen. I said, dude, you're fine. Just keep going. So he goes through a few more. He's throwing the ball in, and finally we get around to where we're doing some BP, and he's up there batting, and he goes to swing, and every time you make contact with the ball, you could tell he's not swinging all the way through. And he's like, he's got. And we're like, what's going on? So we go over there and check him out. His thumb is ballooned up.
Oh, gee.
And we're both sitting there telling him, you're fine.
You're all right.
We get up there, and it's just 2 dads being dads.
Yeah.
And then we get up there, and we see it, and it's all ballooned up, and it's different colors, and ended up taking him to the ER, and he broke his thumb. We're like,
oh, poor guy.
And I got one more, and this one's not
That's tough.
I don't know if it was the closer. Maybe I did this in the wrong order, but so the same son, my older boy, he played some middle school baseball, and this would have been his 6th grade year. So he had some older boys on the team, and this one kid who was an 8th grader, this kid had a rocket of an arm.
Wow.
When I would warm him with them, and he had a lot of movement on it, just his regular throw. Oh. So I hated catching him because not only was he peppering it, but the ball would dance a little bit. Ooh. So I would, you're just kind of, you're just hoping and praying it doesn't kick off your glove and you take it to the grill.
Yeah.
But we like to finish this. We like to finish the practice usually with outfield. We'd go have them all go into the outfield, toss a bucket down by home plate, and coach would make a deal with them. The head coach would make a deal with them if they go into the bucket. Because I was wise enough. I learned from seeing what my father did. never be the head coach. Always be an assistant. Let them do all the facilitating, and then you do all the fun stuff.
The fun stuff.
Less dealing with parents.
Right, yeah. Almost zero dealing with parents. Until they found out you were the one setting the roster. But so we would finish every practice like that, and everybody would kind of just throw their gloves and water bottles back behind the fence. Okay. Well, this kid is just he gets it and he rockets it in, and it is coming in hot. And we're thinking it's going to get the bucket for sure, but it sails over the bucket to the backstop. Smacks into this kid's new Gatorade, like one of the fancy new Gatorade water bottles, and absolutely obliterates it. It blew up. And that kid, he's one of the nicer boys on the team. He's like, oh man, I just got that water bottle. and this kid, the kid who threw it is an absolute sweetheart. Like he wouldn't say anything bad about anybody. He's like, I'll get you. I'm so sorry. I'll get you. But he just had such a rocket, such an absolute cannon. It blew that thing up. It didn't stand a chance. Whoa! I think
like Randy Johnson and the Bird.
Yes, like Randy Johnson and the Bird. It was literally like that. It was in that amount of pieces. This is just a plastic. This is just a hard plastic water bottle, and he just destroys it.
Oh, bye.
Yeah.
I have an Abe story to tell real quick. About the same age, when he was just starting out. It's coach pitch ball. Okay. He wanted to be the catcher, so
cool.
He gets the catch. First game he gets the catch. He's behind the plate. He's flashing signals to the coach on the other team.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now that boy definitely did watch baseball because I wasn't teaching him that.
No.
It's awesome.
He would shake you off too when he started pitching. Like they're not doing anything, buddy. He would have his friends give him signals though when he first started pitching.
Yeah. That's just how he is, man.
Man, that's awesome.
He's locked in.
It's awesome.
He's a sports fanatic.
He is.
That's awesome. Though. That's sweet.
Yep.
That's great.
Well, we will be back with more. We have some Bible stuff coming up and more baseball stuff to wrap up with after that. So,
all right.
Well, we're back with some more apologetics from Scott.
Hey, hello everybody.
Do you want to do a little brief recap of what we've done so far?
That would be good. It's probably always good to
third installment.
Yeah. Probably good to start off again with sort of what it means, apologetics at least.
Yeah.
Christian faith. And I kind of said before, there's a couple of there's the layman one and then there's the real wordy one. But
I like how you started with "I'm sorry" before you started getting into apologetics.
Oh yeah, nice.
Of course, that's not what it means.
No, it's not at all. So
but the wordplay is not lost on me, Scott.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. That's a great.
You did it, not me.
You did it.
I didn't plan it that way. I've got answers for the reasonableness of our faith. And of course, Christianity, that's what we're talking about, or the longer, more wordy 10-cent word one, which is religious discipline of defending religious doctrines through systematic argumentation and discussion. That's kind of
that's just more words I'm going to have to look up.
Yeah, it may be too wordy, but I thought... He might have high brows out there and then middle brows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
And your unibrows.
Unibrow.
Then there's your Wookiees.
And your Wookiees. They're all over the place. We kind of were starting... We kind of went over some of the apologetics concerning the Bible before and had a couple parts to that.
Yeah.
And I realized, again, I know we said it a couple times, that these are kind of the really highlights of apologetics when we're talking about these topics, because it runs deep.
Yes, very deep.
I mean, if you guys know of the Bible and how deep God's word is,
exactly,
and that's pretty much reflective too of the apologetics about it.
Right.
I mean, there's just reams of material, and I have to apologize again, but I'm not. I know I'm just scratching the surface, so
yeah,
I don't. Please don't.
10,000 mile, 10,000.
That's right. Yeah. Overview.
Yeah.
So just kind of the sort of a reality check before we get into it again. Yeah. But we're gonna start on a real important, a central tenet to our faith, of which everything rests on, pretty much. And that is the expressing, proving, discussing, and supporting the deity of Jesus Christ in his resurrection.
Right.
Because there are reams of historical records, and I'm not joking, there are plenty of them, that Jesus was a real figure.
Yeah.
There is no argument. I mean, even your secularists have to consider that.
Yeah, most educated atheists don't even argue that fact.
They don't even argue it either.
Yeah, I know
it's
that
not up for debate.
It used to be kind of the stance that Jesus was never existed, but there's now.
It was before at some point. Okay,
it was but now it's just they don't even.
They kind of accept at least that.
Yeah. Now everybody pretty much just accepts it as an argument from ignorance. If you say,
okay, yeah, if you say you didn't exist, it's like you're just an idiot.
Yeah. So that kind of brings us to the whole thing about Jesus's. In terms of, there's his teachings, which, I mean, the teachings and how in-depth and relative they are to humanity and how it exists in this world, and ultimately where it's going, and is immense. And I can't even fathom it. I mean, there's so much to it. But the biggest point of what among the miracles he did, of course, one of the biggest things he did was, of course, come back and rise, from the dead, and he was resurrected. So that proves our faith in Jesus, that he is who he says he is, and so. We're just going to go over some highlights as to his deity in that. And again, I'm just going to kind of hit some very brief things, maybe read some passages here quickly. And because there's just so much on it, and I encourage anybody out there who would happen to hear this and is interested in it, whether you aren't a Christian yet, you definitely should explore it, and for Christians, obviously, but to explore deeper in their faith. So we're going to start with some basic ideas here. We're talking about Jesus specifically predicted his resurrection, and that's a big thing as far as proof, because anybody can happen to be upon at that time maybe punished for their crimes, crucified, but you're not going to see anybody predict that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so that's something I wanted to touch on, and read a little bit of this page 209. It was the same Jesus Christ who, among many other remarkable things, said and repeated something which, proceeding from any other being, would have condemned him as once as either a bloated egotist or a dangerously unbalanced person. That Jesus said he was going to up to Jerusalem to die is not so remarkable, though all the details he gave about that death, weeks and months before he died, are together a prophetic phenomenon. Christ predicted his resurrection in an unmistakable and straightforward manner. While his disciples simply couldn't understand it, the Jews took his assertions quite seriously. So, again, it's one of many things that points to the resurrection as having weight. And it's that's a good point that the author writes here.
You might want to mention what book that is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Kevin. This is I'm getting a lot of this information, a lot of great information from Josh McDowell's "The New Evidence That Demands a Verdict."
There were updated version of Evidence That Demands a Verdict.
I'm sorry,
which is his book as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This particular volume, I would imagine, whether it's this edition or others, contains both Evidence 1 and 2. Okay. So it's just, more of it. But,
yeah.
Thanks, Kev.
Sure.
I don't think I mentioned that.
You
have before, but not today.
Okay. So the next thing we'll talk about here is the resurrection as a time, space, dimensional event in history. The body disappeared from the tomb. This is a matter of historical records. So what we're talking about here is that it's not just in the biblical recording of the events, but it's also been
in antiquity.
In antiquity, there are references to the tomb being empty.
Josephus.
I think he never said what he believed. He said that
his followers claimed,
yeah.
Right.
And Josephus is
he was a historian in the first century.
One of the first ones.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
He was not a Christian, but he wasn't like against,
particularly against.
He was kind of like middle of the road, just the facts kind of guy.
Yeah.
As he knew him.
Just a little bit to read on that, and I'm trying to keep the reading short. But a little bit on what that particular point. The places of geographical definiteness. The man who owned the tomb was a man living in the first half of the first century. That tomb was made out of rock in a hillside near Jerusalem and was not composed of some mythological gossamer cloud dust, but is something which has geographical significance. So we're just talking about the time and space. That's what this is what we're trying to illustrate here, or the book, or we are here, is that this isn't time and space being in the reality. There's a specific time and place. This isn't some vague, like pseudo-fictional place, or like when maybe somebody talks about Valhalla or something, or they talk about Viking deities. This is a actual earthbound time and place. The guards put before the tomb were not aerial beings from Mount Olympus. This is kind of the Sanhedrin was a body of men frequently in Jerusalem. As a vast mass of literature tells us, the person Jesus was a living person, a man among men, whatever else he was. And the disciples who went out to preach the risen Lord were men among men, men who ate, drank, slept, suffered, worked, died. And so, again, there's all this qualifying evidence of an actual event in time, in our time, this world. We're not going into the DC multiverse. This is our world as we know it, just at that time.
Right.
And I think it's hard for anybody to grasp things in antiquity or history. It's just hard for us to identify it. But you'll see a lot of secular culture identify with all kinds of things with less supporting evidence than Jesus, and they believe it implicitly.
Yeah.
But because of the nature of Jesus and who he is and who he claims to be, I don't know, it makes them nervous about going that step, some of them.
Yeah.
And but they'll believe in some other event or some other person, which is kind of interesting. And then finally, I'll just go over quickly the eyewitness accounts, because this is an important part of how historical events are accounted for. It is no different, again, than any other historical event.
Right.
And that's the funny thing. Again, I know I've mentioned it, but again, going back to kind of the secular cultures throughout time, is that they seem to be more than willing to use eyewitness accounts for a lot of events. But when it comes to Jesus, there's always this heightened, intense criticism on it. That I don't think to that degree you're getting that with other historical events or people.
I agree.
Right. Yeah. If they had as much evidence on anything else, that there is with the gospel, and the reality of that Jesus Christ was a person, they would be flaunting those details, because they're amazing. And it kind of all ties in with like the first part where you talked about the scriptures. The men who wrote these, they had people who followed them. Yeah. They kind of had like their own disciples. Yeah. And when they were deciding what is scripture, what is canon, they had like a chain of custody where you knew that John wrote this, his disciple was this guy, and then his disciples were these guys, and so we know that that's true, that's where it came from. There was that kind of thing. Same with like Mark was basically a disciple of Peter, and so and then he too had followers, and so when they're deciding what was gospel, they could trace it back to where it actually came from. Awesome. Just like you would with evidence for a trial or something, it has to have a chain of custody, and these did, and so they knew where they came from, so they knew that the evidence was there.
Perfect. So. Thanks, Kev. That's awesome. Yeah. And I have to mention here, and I know we've touched on it, but we're saying here, of course, eyewitness accounts. It's not just the disciples, Matthew, Mark. I mean, we're talking, there are other historical records that mention, Jesus being there, doing miracles. So this is not just a biblical thing. This is outside of that, which should impress a lot of people that may think that the Bible's whatever, but the outside stuff just corroborates what's in the Bible. It's so very important that you do your own research and your own reading.
Right.
And I'm saying of the research, but of the Bible itself, because I know that our pastor often said that, and others too. I mean, that do the research yourself too.
Right.
I mean, don't take our word for it, or just go out there and find it. But you'll see what's so awesome is that what we're talking about, and I know we're just hitting some highlights, but you'll see those echoed in what you read. Everybody comes to the same conclusion, or the same evidences are spoken of in a lot of the research.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm going to say something and then George over there is going to come up with some completely, well, he came down as an alien and got off the ship, and we've got some eyewitness accounts of that. No, it's all going to be pretty much down the line.
Right.
And like the manuscripts themselves, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's just one thing corroborates another. And the translations are so close, there's really no difference in the events.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just astounds me. But then again, I'm on one side now, see?
Yeah.
So, it might have been hard for me to see that when I wasn't.
Yeah. But I would say if you are trying to navigate this and decide for yourself whether you believe it or not, don't go into it trying to disprove it and with that agenda.
Go with an open mind.
Go with an open mind and go and just, you whether you believe in God or not, just say, hey, God, if you're real, show me. And, he'll reveal himself to you.
Perfect.
Give him that opportunity.
That's perfectly said.
But don't go into it trying to prove it wrong.
Although there have been people that have come to the conclusion that this is right. This is real.
Yes. Yeah. But that's because
they were being honest with it.
But because God blessed them enough to reveal the facts.
Yeah.
If you want to climb down a wormhole, you can prove anything wrong.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. If your heart's hardened and
if you're dead set, you want something to be wrong, you can make it wrong. You can make the rightest thing wrong.
Yep.
But we all urge you to have an open mind and an open heart.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to put too fine a point on it and get all ultra intense here, but it may be the thing that's just turns your life completely over in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
It seriously will be that if you come to the Lord honestly, and he'll, like Caleb said, he'll provide you that turn or that insight that this is amazing.
It's very true.
I think that's what I wanted to go over here. Again, I just didn't want to get too into the details and the weeds.
Yeah,
because you can see this.
Right,
book
we could get way in depth on it and go on forever and ever. But none of us are scholars, so
I'm not.
We're just guys that love the Lord and are wanting to share it with you.
And I know I said it before, but I'm so privileged, even if one person just happens to hear it, to be able to share something or contribute some way. Because I know I don't do that always on a daily basis, and this really provides an opportunity to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, with you guys too, I'm so blessed.
True, very true.
Yeah, and say you're too lazy to do the research on your own, just crack open your Bible and read it.
It's all there.
And you'll find it's got to be like one of a few things. Either it's the best written book of all time, and it just has an amazing author, because it does, or it's just a book full of coincidences, or it's God telling you exactly what all has happened from the beginning of time.
Yep. Back and
better than ever.
Yes, better than ever.
Better than ever.
And we got Scott's News. Yeah. We need to get a jingle for Scott's News.
Here you go. It's Scott's News.
Scott's News.
Oh, I thought it was pretty weak to begin with, and then it definitely did get weaker.
I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, we'll keep working on it.
Okay.
We'll have Sly
every week.
We'll have Sly come up with
every week. Every week we'll do a better jingle than the week before.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I mean, I like that.
Of course, don't have my voice all the way back, so
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm doing the best I can.
And it probably was the best you can. It's not going to get better when the voice comes back, folks.
Oh, wow. That's harsh.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. And with that, we'll start with the death.
Amazing.
All right. How about Billy Graham?
Ooh.
Oh. Huh.
Well respected.
That's been within the last
Awesome, man.
decade-ish.
Yeah. And, well,
Malcolm X?
Malcolm X, yep. He actually, of course, was assassinated. Malcolm X.
I don't think I knew that.
And,
That's what I don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's true. I've always said that.
I'm curious because I've seen on a couple of these a fella named I didn't know that, Tim Horton.
Oh, the Tim Horton.
The Tim Horton, yeah, the
Really?
hockey player, Canadian hockey player. They named
The coffee guy.
the
Terrible,
franchise
terrible coffee. Just okay. But maybe he was a good hockey
He
player.
was a good hockey player.
But not the best. We know that. So,
Yeah,
No,
wasn't the
not
greatest.
best.
you know what, though? What can you expect from a Canadian company?
That's true. Well,
Not a lot.
No.
You suck, Canada. Oh,
he was one of the famous births. I mean, you kept seeing Tim Horton.
Oh, he was a birth.
Yeah, he was a death. Sorry,
Okay.
one of the famous deaths.
Ironically,
Tim
I think we're
Horton.
currently experiencing the death of Tim Hortons
Yeah,
as a franchise.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
Full circle,
Yep.
right there.
yeah. Thank you for bringing that.
You're so welcome. And Dad was saying earlier, for both of them, both the person and the business, he's glad to see him die.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
not
Felt dark.
Not true.
no 88 views this week.
Not
We're
zero
plunges.
from, I'll tell you how many we'll get from Canada. The same amount we do every week.
we do it.
Wasn't our only comment we've ever got from Canada?
Oh, that's
On your
right.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Is that the Carl's?
Yeah, the
the
car guy.
bubble car.
Yep.
Bubble car. Yeah.
On the one that's just run on carbonation.
Carbonation. Yeah.
Something.
Moonshine or something.
I think we make it a different thing every time.
I think we do.
But I'll tell you what it's not running on. Fossil fuels.
Yeah. Take it away.
This
So
is
it's probably not running at all.
Yeah. And this podcast brought to you by Fossil Fuels. Fossil Fuels. It's what the energy's from.
I thought you were gonna say it.
Fueling America.
What's for dinner?
It's what's for dinner. No, I don't think fossil fuels can use that slogan. Even big
that's
big
true.
fossil fuels. Is that what people call it?
Big fossil fuel.
I don't think so.
You can use it. Use it to cook your dinner, though.
Yeah, that's
Fossil
true.
fuels?
That's
I
true.
don't know. Where's propane come from?
Oh.
I don't know.
Propane's
I don't know stuff.
fracking. I thought it was fun to say that.
Well, I think you're being fracking ridiculous. I don't think you know what the frack you're talking
I
about.
don't think.
Do you have any births?
Birth, yes, famous birth. Kelsey Grammer. That kind of list there. That was
right.
kind of weird.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer. Sarah, or no, I got the wrong three names. Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Hey.
I
Hi,
was
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I was going to say Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I got the wrong three names.
Oh, I see.
That lady.
John Wilkes Booth.
John Lovett.
John Lovett.
It's everybody with Lovett in their name.
There's
Lyle Lovett.
Lyle Lovett, Sophie
John's cousin.
Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Sounds familiar.
She's an actress.
Gary Lockwood, who was, I can at least tell you that he was in 2001 Space Odyssey.
I think most people here have been.
He's actually still alive too. He's 88.
Wow.
A fella, Richard Baymer.
Oh. Yeah.
He's an actor. He's in West Side Story.
Right.
Yeah.
He plays the lead, probably.
Oh, here's one that Jerry Harrison, the keyboard player for the Talking Heads.
Oh,
I
nice.
love the Talking Heads. One of my favorite bands.
He is absolutely honest.
Yeah, no lies there. Man, they do music good.
Man, they do music good. Mary Chapin Carpenter.
Hey,
Now we're
She's
talking.
good. She's a good talent.
Yeah.
I like
I love
Mary
the
Chapin.
I Am a Town song.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
great.
I prefer I'm a Rock. I'm an Island.
Yeah, that's good too.
That's not her.
Oh,
Oh, that's the
it
other.
could have been her.
It
It's
could
the other
have
Carpenter.
It's the other Carpenter. Oh, Karen.
Was it Karen? No.
Richard, her brother.
Richard Carpenter?
Richard Carpenter. That's it. That's
Her brother.
Yeah, that's her brother.
Oh.
The other half of the Carpenters.
He sang I'm a Rock, I'm an Island?
No.
I think
That was Simon and Garfunkel.
But they're in the same vein.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah. I don't think you. I would argue if the
The
Carpenters.
Carpenters and Simon and Garfunkel are the same
Let me
thing.
say what I'm saying.
He's
Let
going
me
to make
say what
the
I'm saying.
connection.
I think if the Carpenters don't exist, you never have Simon and Garfunkel. I think they're
I'm
pretty
pretty
heavily
sure
influenced. Shut up. Let me have this.
Pretty
trying
sure
to get
that
some.
well, he's trying, but Simon and Garfunkel came first. So
What? I guess at the end of the day, that's what we're asking. What came first? The chicken.
the Simon or the Garfunkel?
You really? Are you sure that that's true?
Pretty sure.
They're a little older. Hey, that reminds me, for all you Paul Simon fans,
Yeah.
he's out of retirement or from the road. He's actually going on some multi-city
Yeah, I saw that.
tour or something, which is a lot because he's,
Yeah.
he's 70s.
And he always wants to be homeward bound. So
And there's nothing more I want to see than somebody geriatric and past their prime.
I
love Paul Simon.
We break it down to the real, though.
Yeah,
Break down the real.
I am being real.
he does love Paul Simon.
I love
I
Paul.
will.
I'm a
I love
huge Paul Simon fan.
Edie Brickell may be joining. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are they still married?
Can you stop?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought they were
I don't
Maybe
know.
they
still
are.
together.
Yeah, she passed.
She's younger.
Oh,
She's
well, still younger. He's very old, right?
yeah.
Like 90s.
Oh,
no,
he's
80s
quite
probably.
that old. He's probably 70s, 80s.
Probably early 80s.
Early 80s.
I'm thinking.
He's kind of.
He's got to be deeper into the 80s than
Yeah,
that. He's got to be pushing 90,
All
right?
right, let's check it out.
Because let's think about it. Because often I think about how Steve Perry is the same age as my grandfather.
Oh man,
Exactly. And how cool is Steve Perry?
that's great.
The coolest.
You're cool too, Dad.
I didn't say
Don't
that.
listen to Caleb.
I didn't
Yeah,
say that he wasn't
you're
cool.
You're cool, dude.
But
Yeah, right.
how crazy is it
83.
that he's the same age? Yeah. That's what we were saying. Got to be older than 70s.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 83. Yeah. And so he's up there.
Yeah.
He's doing some.
His vocals are still with him. I lied. I mean, I just watched him on SNL, and it was.
How was it? Kind of not good.
But I still love him because he's Paul Simon.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably still go see him if someone gave me tickets and arranged for the transportation.
Somebody came and arranged.
Yeah, and bought me dinner for that night. If it's like more than 2 hours away, got me a hotel, I would go see him.
It's more than 2 hours away. No, I love Paul Simon.
Yeah, me too. But we want to move on to the baseball thing.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I mean, hey, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio?
Oh,
move on
from that. There, nice segue. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite part was how we segued, and then he's like, "I gotta try again." We segue one more time.
That's right.
Yes.
I gotta try again.
I had to try again.
Because what's better than one segue? Two segues.
Segue.
Unless you're trying to navigate.
Well,
It sounds like a wreck.
That's great. The spontaneity is what's the. Yeah.
this is your idea. Do you want to explain it to us?
Yeah.
So basically, my idea was baseball teams makeup. Just come up with a lineup of your favorite players, preferably from the era of when you were most interested in the sport.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of us may have reached into others' eras a little too heavy.
But I've always been interested in baseball.
Okay. But I mean, at its peak of interest for you.
Yeah. He's saying the peak of what are.
I thought we were doing like
No, you knew what we were doing.
Oh, the best of the
I
best.
thought we were doing like the the fantasy teams like we did with football, I have Hutch from Starsky and Hutch as my catcher.
Oh, God. Sorry. Rube Goldberg. That's the
I was thinking you would be pitcher because he's crafty.
oh, shit.
You go designated hitter because
He'll find a way to get on base.
he'll get on base.
It's really a pitch. Sorry.
The pitcher made the most sense, and you're like, he's gonna be.
He's
kind of
Probably a crafty left-hander.
gonna play.
Crafty left-hander, yeah.
He'll play some middle infield.
That's
He's gonna be up the middle.
gonna play some middle infield.
So most of the players from your era, it doesn't even have to be the best players of that position.
Okay.
Maybe it's
Right.
guys you just love.
Yeah.
Players that you
That's cool.
love.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So who's gonna start?
Whoever goes first.
Who's
all mapped
Who's
out.
on first?
I don't know.
Go ahead, Scott.
Oh boy, I gotta start this. Okay, all right.
So we're gonna go all through. We're gonna go back and forth. It's up to you. It's your
Dealer's
thing.
choice. It's not. It's just a thing that I said. It's not my thing. I don't care how we do it. If we go back and forth, do we go in position?
Are we going
Well, that's what
first?
I figured. But you have a batting order.
I have a batting order, but we can get to the batting order.
Okay, you can
It's
throw it in the
not
batting
pressing.
order. All right.
It's not pressing.
All right. We'll go back and forth then.
We're gonna go back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
Pick a position. We'll
Okay.
go from there.
Pitchers.
Pitchers. All right.
I'm gonna go.
Who starts with pitchers?
Man.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Scott.
No. Scott, go with pitchers. Don't listen to this guy.
third base.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh man! If you just had the list of all the people from that would be hard to follow. Tuesday, Monday.
Well, I know some of us probably are gonna have,
There's gonna be some crossover for sure.
So, I tell you what, Nolan Ryan. That's my dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
I
I also have Nolan Ryan. 5,714 strikeouts.
It's still not the coolest thing you did, because the coolest thing
That's
you did,
right.
punching that guy.
Bunch of the
7 no-hitters.
awesome. Yeah, the Caleb said.
0 Cy Young.
0 Cy Young.
That's a travesty.
That's not
That's
good.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So we're going with our right-handed starter first.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're writing.
So my right-handed starter, Greg Maddux.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice, Caleb.
I didn't like the Atlanta Braves.
No, but he was pretty awesome.
He's a good pitcher, man.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a good pitcher.
He was. Put the ball wherever he wanted it.
Yeah.
And his stats on times that he went 3-1 and stuff, or 3-0. I mean, almost non-existent except if he was throwing intentional walk.
Right. And how many Gold Gloves? He's got the most Gold Gloves, right?
Yeah. Something ridiculous.
For a pitcher, that's insane.
Yeah.
Just a very good, underrated athlete, amazing pitcher.
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
a bad hitter. Because back when he played,
Pitchers
Pitcher
still hit.
That.
Yep.
Yeah.
they were still playing baseball. Oh, I know that was an old man take, but
No, that's good.
I
I grew up
agree.
in a National League town.
That's right.
Make an adjustment here.
That's all right.
Uh-oh.
Got two rights.
And it wouldn't be baseball if you weren't doing it on the fly.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how
Yeah,
it
I had
works.
two rights.
That's okay.
I realize
And
there.
two rights don't make a wrong.
They also don't make a left.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a
No,
little.
it's just more of a right.
Groucho
Three,
Marx
but
there.
3 rights do.
3 rights.
Two rights just make more right.
Right? 3 rights. Let's make more right. Right?
How many rights before you're just going straight?
2 rights make a U-turn.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But 4 rights, what do you? I think
You're just
gonna-
back on the same way again.
It's a circle.
Same way again. And that leads me back to this is my left-hander.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I had to change this because I had 2 right-handers. Sorry. Of
course.
Steve Carlton.
And I too have
Really?
Steve Carlton.
The amount of crossovers.
I mean,
amazing.
Do we look at the
lefty.
Yeah, lefty. Yeah.
I mean, how can he not be your
I was
lefty?
gonna say, yeah, Steve Carlton.
He was amazing, and I never liked the Phillies, but
No, I wasn't. A big
he was
Philly
good.
fan. But I did like Philly players.
Yeah,
Some of them.
they had some good
When he
players.
was
Yeah,
one I liked.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So my left-hander, Randy Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was no other choice for my era.
Well, sure.
But I also-
well, that's a great choice.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an awesome choice.
Who else
the-
blew up a bird?
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
It's probably one of the greatest plays in baseball history.
And everybody remembers Randy Johnson for his fastball, and the dude
Yeah.
did have a blazing fastball. But he also had one of the nastiest curveballs.
Yeah.
It would go behind. curveballs are usually the best pitch for you throw against the same side you throw to. So if you're throwing to a curveball is the good pitch. Yeah. His curveball was so hard to hit for even right-handers because the ball would go around them and then land behind them in the dirt.
Yeah.
It was just such a nasty hook. Yeah. And because I have a problem with this sort of thing, and I'm a bit obsessive compulsive when it comes to sports, I completed my rotation, my 5-man rotation. I went...
oh, wow.
I went... Kurt Schilling.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Dontrell Willis. Played with the Florida Marlins when they won the World Series. Yep. I was a little obsessed with that team at the time. They were a fun team. They were so good. It was a fun team. A lot of really good young talent. And then Paul Wilson.
They immediately sold off.
Paul Wilson,
former Cincinnati Red, because I also wanted somebody who could get scrappy into a fight. He's the one who...
He's the one that got thumped.
But he was not... He didn't back down. He went up against arguably the only pitcher you shouldn't charge. He charged the mound.
The only time I've ever been at a ball game when there was a fight. I went to a game that there was a fight, but I arrived late and missed it. But this game, we were at the Reds and the Cubs.
Mm-hmm. They've been chippy.
Yep.
Throwing at each other a little bit.
And Dusty Baker, who went on to coach the Reds, was coaching the Cubs at this time.
Yeah.
And Paul Wilson got thrown at by
Kyle Farnsworth. And Kyle Farnsworth was like built like a linebacker.
And he was trying to lay down a bunt.
Stud. I mean, the guy was huge.
He was trying to lay down a bunt, and he came up and in on him.
And Paul Wilson wasn't built too different than...
Oh.
But he came up and in on him, and then he missed the first time. Came up in on him again when he tried to bunt and hit him that time.
Yeah, and Paul Wilson went charging at the mound, and Kyle Farnsworth, being the stud beast of a man he was, picked up Paul Wilson and planted him in the ground.
Serious?
It was like when you're playing high school football and you have tackling practice and they show you the proper way to tackle.
On the dummy.
It was perfect form.
Yeah.
I mean, he just picked him up, rolled his hip, planted him.
I've been to many a football game, and I've never seen a more form-fit tackle than that.
No, that was perfect.
Oh. Yeah.
That was a perfect tackle.
And
then it was on.
But he was a decent enough pitcher that he could have made it into my 5-hole for the pitchers.
So, yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good.
He was all right. He was probably a 2, I would think, for the Reds. So he could be a 5 for me.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
It's a great story too.
It is. It is
crazy. I couldn't not do the rest of the rotation because Willis was a left-hander, and I felt like I couldn't leave him off. And Kurt Schilling, probably one of my favorite pitchers. The bloody sock thing is just maybe the most iconic thing in baseball history. So
very cool.
Anyways,
all right, what do you got next, Scott?
I'll let you go.
Relief pitcher. Okay. I got
I don't have a relief.
I got a right-handed relief pitcher.
Okay.
You got 2 different relief pitchers?
Righty and lefty.
Oh, that's insane. I've only got 1.
I went with Raleigh Fingers.
Oh, I got it. I knew he should have been in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
The mustache.
All right, I'm going with Raleigh.
Yep.
I'm not even going to
If I was finishing out my rotation, Gaylord Perry would have been in there.
Gaylord Perry, yeah, I was looking at him.
Yep.
Yeah. I had my 2 was Tom Seaver.
Yeah. That's
I went with Nolan on the right-hander.
So
I'd go with like you, Kev. I'd go with Raleigh for
Do your other.
For my lefty, Tug McGraw.
Ugh.
He's not Tim. He's his dad.
Yeah. Well,
Tug was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was crazy.
He was, and also played a hand in ruining country music. Thanks.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
that's true.
I would argue that his son is the reason country music is dead.
He went skydiving.
That's not the song that killed him. But Tim McGraw, if you're listening, your music's trash. I just went closer for mine.
Okay. Mariano Rivera.
That would have been the obvious choice.
Yeah.
I went John Schmaltz.
Nice.
No, Smoltz, yeah.
because he was a good closer.
Yeah.
But he's also just a great pitcher.
Yeah. He was a good starter to begin with.
Yes.
Then became a really good closer.
In baseball, and actually all sports, I like a guy who can do more than one thing.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. That's why, and he didn't make my list because it's a little too fresh and new, but that's why I think Shohei Ohtani is easily the best baseball player ever.
Yeah.
He's not even finished his career yet.
I agree.
I like a guy who can do multiple things on a baseball field well.
I even thought of throwing him on my list just because he's so fun to watch.
He's prolific.
All right. What do you got now, Scott?
Fly adjustments.
I was going to throw my closer in Dennis Eckersley.
Oh, okay.
Eckersley. Nice.
Throwing it in. I didn't choose one. That's why I was.
It's a great choice.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, play along.
All right, play the game. You want to play the game.
Okay. Right. Outfielder, we're going to do our 3 for each of us.
We can do 3. Yeah, just do 3. Right. That's fine.
Parker, Dave Parker.
Dave Parker. No, he's got Dave Parker, no doubt.
Finally getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
As he should.
He should have been there a long time
That's
ago.
kind of long coming. I know this.
I also have Dave Parker.
Do you?
Yep.
I knew you would.
Loved him.
I've got Winfield.
Oh.
Dave Winfield, and
that's a good one.
It was good.
I know this is a bit out, but Fred Lynn.
Hey, he was good.
But you know what? Solid. I wanted to put?
What'd you want?
I'm going to throw that Roberto.
Oh
yeah. As a Pirates fan, you almost. Yeah. Plus, he was also one of the best ever.
But I wasn't. That really wasn't.
Yeah, he died when we were so little, just babies, so you didn't really get to see him.
So that's just
would have loved to.
Mention, but those are my 3.
Had exactly 3,000 hits.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Crazy. Yep. Yeah. Of course, I had Dave Parker.
Of course he did.
I had Mr. Padre.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
I have him in left. I have Parker in right. Tony Gwynn was a right fielder too, but Parker's arm, man, you cannot not have him in right field.
Tony ended up in left later in his career, though.
I think so.
Yeah.
And for center field, I got Kenny Lofton.
Oh, Kenny Lofton.
Okay.
Because, and we discussed this earlier when we were talking about doing this. Scott's a lifelong Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
Yeah.
I'm a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. Yeah. And if I was just listing my all-time favorite players, it probably would have just almost been completely all Reds players. And that wouldn't have been fun.
Yeah, I tried to do this.
No, it would have been, you would have been the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Which would have been boring.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would have thrown Griffey in center field.
So, so I could pick not Reds.
You could,
And you won't see a lot of Reds on this list.
I mean,
Dave Parker played a short time with the Reds, but when you think of his career, you don't think of him as a Red. Right. Mostly, you think of him as a Pirate.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Oh, I would have. Yeah, if you're talking about a team, I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Red Machine. I mean, you're. Oof.
Yeah. Some of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah. So I had to do some shuffling around with mine too, because I had a couple guys who played multiple spots, but my center fielder, I have Ichiro Suzuki.
Oh, nice.
Ichiro only played a little bit of center field, but he was good enough to play center, and had maybe the most underrated arm in baseball.
Yeah,
and an underrated defensive player. He was so good, and I don't even need to mention
his bat,
potentially the best hitter of all time. I know that you don't. I know that you have a soft spot for Pete.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you can't argue with that. I think if that man would have played his entire career, he may have challenged.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he may have been up there challenging the all-time hit.
Well, I think it's fair to say that he's at least one of them.
Right.
Yeah, and there are guys on his. I've heard guys that he played with say that they think he could have hit a home run whenever he wanted.
Really?
Yeah. Which is
I've heard that too.
Insane to say.
Yeah, because he didn't hit a lot of them, but they felt like when he wanted to, he could hit it whenever he wanted. Yep.
Right field, I have maybe the best bad ball hitter ever to play baseball, and a fantastic arm, Vladimir Guerrero. Senior, of course, not junior, because he's not good. But and then left field, this guy was primarily a center fielder. and maybe not even one your average baseball fan would know.
Okay.
But he is a World Series champion, Juan Pierre. Do you remember him? Played with, again, the Florida Marlins. And there's going to be one other Marlin on this.
I love it.
But he was so fast.
Almost guess who he is already.
I guarantee you, if you are a baseball fan, don't know him as a Marlin.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But
I mean, you should. If you're a baseball fan, you would.
But if you're just a casual fan, you probably
might not. Yeah, if you just follow like maybe one team or something.
I still think of him as a Marlin.
And he was just a baby.
He was just We'll get there. Spoiler. But Juan Pierre was just, he was a decent outfielder and blazing fast on the base. Yeah.
Thought maybe you might have gone with like Crime Dog in there somewhere or something.
McGriff?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a first baseman?
Crime Dog.
Did he play Smell?
McGriff.
No, I wasn't a big McGriff fan.
Oh,
and my first baseman is an obvious choice.
I know. What you got next, Scott?
What do you think, guys? We go around the bases.
Let's go around them.
Sure.
First base. Got to do it. Stargell.
My first baseman, Pops. Willie Stargell.
Willie Stargell.
He was such a great batting. Would flip the bat or windmill it around. And I remember seeing him, like, someone threw behind him, and he, like, stuck his butt out and got hit by it. And he was, like, the heart and soul of that Pirates team.
Was. Yeah.
Like the 79 team.
I loved him.
Yep. He was, like, their leader.
Florida, when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got his autograph.
That's awesome.
Waiting for him to come out of the bat. I remember standing there, and he finally came out. And wow. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. That's so awesome.
And we were young too.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that he passed away on the day that the new stadium opened up.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken.
Really?
We went to a game there, and his statue's up there.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I'm telling you what, though, it's a tough one between. I love Steve Garvey.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got Perez.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's some good first basemen.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Perez because I have what I would say, personally, is the best Reds first baseman of all time, Sean Casey.
Really?
Yeah, I love Sean Casey. Big Sean Casey guy. And
if you're a Reds fan, you love Sean Casey.
And I would,
the mayor.
Yeah, and I would say I'll tell you what, if anything, this lineup's getting on base.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting on base because Sean Casey may be one of the best hitting first baseman for average.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not for power. One of the things that made my grandpa the most mad, he wanted to trade Sean Casey.
He's right, Dad. You wanted to trade Sean Casey.
He wanted to trade Sean Casey. The years preceding went on to have what made him a Cincinnati Red Hall of Famer, career. But Sean Casey, loved him. Good defensive player, great hitter.
Yep.
Good dude. And a great gravel. He sounds like a professional wrestler.
Yeah. He does. He's so much fun to listen to, too.
He is. He's a baseball guy.
He's a baseball guy. Awesome. Yep. Definitely.
We're going to two.
Moving on to second base.
All right.
What?
This is tough for me, guys. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say it, and then I'm going to put my honorable mention. Just call it honorable mention.
I don't mind an honorable mention. I love it. I actually love an honorable mention.
I think I'm going to have to go because I think he's a great guy. It's Joe Morgan. I love the guy.
Yeah.
And I also love this, my honorable mention, Mr. Carew.
Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
Yeah.
He converted.
My second.
He's
Adam Sandler. My second baseman. Rod Carew.
Oh,
Rod Carew.
Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
Hall of Famer Rod
Love
Carew.
Rod. Love him.
I also would give an honorable mention to Trammell.
Alan Trammell.
And no, he was shortstop.
Trammell was,
Yeah, and the second baseman, both of them were Tigers. And,
the Tigers.
Lou Whitaker,
yeah.
Them guys, awesome up the middle. Yeah. Great double play comment. Neither
defense.
One of them are on my list, but they're both honorable mention.
Yeah, I had.
And they both, I think those guys both should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think either of them.
They're not in there. Trammell isn't in there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's of course a lot of options I could have picked from. A lot of great second
basemen.
And the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. But I went with
What'd you get?
Craig Biggio.
Craig Biggio. Okay. Yeah.
Craig played multiple positions in his career. He worked his way up. He started as a catcher, played second, played center field. I love a guy who can play more than one position. I'm a big fan of it. I always liked Biggio, even though he played for the Astros, and we did not like the Astros.
Yeah.
But we hated the Astros before it was cool.
Before it was cool.
But
They were in the division back then.
Yes, they were. Yeah. They were a National League team back then, but I always had a soft spot for Biggio. I thought he was a good ball player, and I loved his versatility. So
That's
Biggio
cool,
was
man.
my second base.
I didn't know about that he was that versatile. That's cool.
Can I go ahead and throw my bench player out there?
Oh, we're not.
I know, but it's pertinent.
Okay.
Craig Biggio.
That's cool, guys.
Start off as a catcher,
Second base.
center field. I mean,
He can play.
versatile.
He can play.
Why wouldn't you want that guy coming off the bench?
Yeah.
All utility kind of guy.
Yep.
Yeah. I love a utility player.
I do too.
That's awesome.
We'll get there.
I like that's one of the things I really like about today's game. That you see a lot of that. You see a lot of guys that are playing multiple positions, and I love
part
that.
Of the game.
I
feel
love
like
that.
it used to be the way it was.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys played.
Oh,
Yeah.
at that point,
Pete Rose
and then for
was
a
like an
little bit-
all-star, second base, third base, left field.
right field.
But for a little bit, it got to where everybody was like, "Oh no, this is what I do. I am this position."
Yeah.
But I always think personally, you hear a lot of times, and actually, it's going on now with I think it's the Red Sox. They already have a third baseman. They just got another third baseman. One of the guys is saying, "Oh, I'm a third baseman." If you're a baseball player, you play the position.
We're good.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree. You play wherever they put you.
Yeah. Okay. What's happening? All right.
I don't know.
Good.
Third baseman. The
hot corner.
hot corner, they call it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Third base.
This is a tough one, too, because there's some great ones.
Oh yeah.
The era.
I think we're gonna end up with the same guy though.
I've got Pete.
Oh no, we're not gonna have the same guy.
Oh, okay. Pete Rose.
Very good.
Charlie Hustle.
But I got some honorable mentions. Okay?
Yeah.
Got
I think our honorable mention might be my starter.
George Brett. Mike
Not him.
Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt.
Yeah.
Mike Schmidt.
Michael Jack Smith.
Brooks Robinson.
Dayton native. Brooks Robinson.
Great.
He was amazing glove with the glove.
Yes,
man.
he was.
I mean,
Well,
he could hit too, but
Yeah.
his glove was awesome.
But see, when I remember Pete, I thought he was playing third a lot. I don't know.
He did during the Big Red Machine era.
Yeah, so
he
that's
played
kinda
third.
where
He came up. I think he was Rookie of the Year at second base.
Second. Oh, okay.
He later moved to left field, and then they wanted to get George Foster's bat in the lineup, so he moved to
So they
third
moved him.
base.
Okay.
And Perez had been third base. He moved over to first base because they had traded their first baseman for Joe Morgan.
And because Perez and Pete were baseball players, they played a different position.
That's right. Also, Johnny Bench played center field and stuff when he was a young player,
Wow.
My third baseman,
as well as catcher.
also known for playing multiple positions, because probably famously not known as a first baseman, but when he first came up, played some left field, played some third base, then moved over to out of the hot corner. Primarily played first later in his career and did some DH stuff. Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, Cabrera. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's his Marlin.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Just such a good ball player.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I
And I mean, he was just a kid when he was on that Marlins team.
And for me, maybe the first guy I remember, I've seen every bit of his career.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
Caleb, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And he had such a career, man.
It was
Great
cool.
career.
It was cool to see him because he had that was his rookie year. They won that World Series.
Yeah. What? He was like 19.
Gosh.
So
wow.
young. I mean, if you look
He
at
was that young.
Yeah. I mean, you look at him, he looks like.
He's a different kid because he's a kid.
Yeah, he looks like he should be on some high school team somewhere. He just looks like a little
He was a
kid.
big part, and he was a contributing factor.
He was very much so.
A completely different ball player than what he ended up being.
Right.
But he was so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's my third baseman.
Yeah.
Awesome, Caleb.
So that just leaves us one position.
Did we do short though? We skipped short.
Oh, we did skip short.
Yeah.
That leaves us two positions.
Let's go short and then let's go catcher.
Short. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna go Cal.
Cal?
Old Ripken Jr.
Cal, yeah, that's my favorite, and that's my shortstop too. Favorite baseball player of all time. Loved him.
He's
Got
awesome.
the opportunity to see him play. Played in his last season.
Oh, that's right.
And every time he came to bat, they played the natural. Thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
That's beautiful. Kid.
Maryland boy, Baltimore player.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep.
What a great dude.
Got to see him play in Camden Yards.
Yeah. His home field.
Awesome.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Beautiful ballpark.
My shortstop, I took Omar Little O Fiscal.
This guy, yeah.
I love the way he played defense. It
He was a
was
good
awesome.
defensive player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much like one of my all-time
old school
favorites,
shortstop.
Dave Concepcion. And he wore 13 because they both were from Venezuela.
Really?
Yep.
That was my honorable choice,
Yeah.
Mr. Concepcion.
He was definitely an old school style shortstop.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Cal revolutionized the position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
One of
changed
the
it.
first big guys to play
He
it.
changed it completely.
No longer short.
Yeah.
No longer. Yeah, you're right.
And became a power hit after that.
Yeah.
Power hitter and just
Definitely.
an athlete.
And probably why guys like Omar Vizquel aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just all about defense. I mean, Cal was, great
Yeah.
defensive player, but Vizquel was mainly
He
defense.
wasn't putting up the numbers.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that leaves catcher. Well, I still have utility
what do you
player,
got?
but I'll do my utility player first.
Oh, you said your shortstop
Yeah.
was Cal too. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
I can do my utility player real quick though.
Okay.
Ryan Friel.
Friel.
Nice.
Played for the Reds. Had a short stint.
That's a great pick.
So
But
Played so hard.
Played every position on the field. He was their emergency third catcher.
Yep.
And played everywhere. Everything was hard. And
Yep.
he did have a
Reckless
tragic,
abandon.
did have a tragic ending to his life.
Yeah.
But he dove into, he would routinely dive
Had
into the
a
stands. to get
lot
a
of
ball.
concussions.
Yeah. Let's get down to catchers, Kevin. Better make it
Alrighty.
fast.
Go for it.
Who you got?
I kind of told you that earlier. I've got bench number one, honorable mention, Gary.
Gary Carter. Nice.
Oh, get Carter.
I went with Pudge Rodriguez.
And some would argue
Oh,
shouldn't have been on your list. I also had Pudge
he
Rodriguez.
was okay. Is this
Honorable mention, Yadier Molina. I couldn't put him on there because I hate the St.
Molina.
Louis Cardinals. I'm a Reds fan because I was born into it. I hate the Cardinals. Yadier Molina is a great catcher.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
His brother was a pretty good catcher too.
Yeah, the Molinas knew how to make a catcher.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
Played
Wasn't there three of them?
I think he was born in a
was there
rifle.
three?
That's why they wrote the book about it.
And then I have this.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Ray.
Good night.
The Whatchagonnawannado podcast is brought to you by Scott Dog Productions and is made possible by viewers like you.